Hello viewers, this is Role Model Africa and this is an exclusive one-on-one session with multiple award-winning banker and entrepreneur, Mr. Prince Kofi Amoabeng. This show is going to be moderated by mentoring activist Samuel Ajimang Prempe. Come on with us.
This is
Role Model Africa, a mentoring platform that advocates on the essential benefits of mentorship. Today, this program is being brought to you by Epic Visions under the partnership of Invents and PM Media. We have a very remarkable guest for today's show, and this personality runs remarkable businesses in the country and has been the most respected CEO on 3 occasions. Today we have no other person joining us than the founder of the UT Group of Companies, Mr. Amoabeng. Thank you for joining us, sir.
It's my pleasure to be here.
It's a great honor to have you here. Looking at the many months that we spent to have you honor our platform, and looking at your busy schedule and most of the things that you do, I think that it is a great endorsement to have you here today.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Good. So we want to appreciate your personal life and your journey in business, and more importantly, to have your voice on the crucial role of mentorship and the profundity of this institution. To begin with, what would you say are the ideals of Prince Kofi Amoabeng?
Well, that's a very broad question, but I think really it's what should apply to everyone. Because you ask yourself, how come you are in this world?
Okay.
And it's the obvious answer is that someone put you here. Mm-hmm. And why would anybody put you here? It means the people who put you here or make you exist because they want you to contribute to the system. So really, I think for everyone, you have to find what you can bring to bear onto nature of which you are a part. So my idea is constantly looking for how I can impact on people's lives and contribute my bit to the world.
UT Bank, can we say is the flagship of businesses that you have?
It's the one that is most known because we started as a financial service institution. Those days, Unique Trust Financial Services, which metamorphosed into UT Financial Services, and then UT Financial Services acquired BPI Bank, and we remodeled it to UT Bank. So it's more known, and in all aspects, the flagship of the UT Group of Companies.
Okay. Having handed over as CEO, what are your expectations for the company in the space of 10 years?
For the bank, I expect that they will get their act together and expand, maybe have a few more branches, but not necessarily, and look at going Pan-African if it's possible. But everything is possible. It means either we get into some mergers and acquisitions, but that will require a lot of funding. But that is our hope.
So when you give a thought to handing over the bank, how was the process like?
For me, it was straightforward. I mean, I'm someone who believes in systems and institutions. And since we have it in this country that at the age of 60, you have to go on pension. Okay. I thought everybody was going on pension at 60. Mm-hmm. And people said, well, it is your company and you founded it and why you go. But the point is that if, as a people, we decide that at 60 something is missing, you have to leave the post, then it should apply to you. So I actually meant to leave at the age of 60. But I didn't because that was the time we were transitioning to a bank and wanted more funding to meet the minimum capital. And most investors did not believe that they should invest in a company where the founder is leaving after so many years of being the CEO. Okay. So typically IFC, who acquired 20% of the shares, actually said that they would put in their monies if I'll stay for at least 2 years.
Okay.
So
what do you think was the rationale behind that?
I think it's normal because I've been the CEO from inception.
Okay.
And then just at the point that they're bringing their money, the CEO they believed in is no more there.
Okay.
So they said, okay, at least if we stay for 2 years, then we'll see how things go. So part of the covenant was for me to stay for at least 2 years from the time they inject their money. So I couldn't leave at 60 because I had to stay. The company needed additional money. So I had to stay, get the monies, and try to continue with growing the company. That is how come I didn't leave at the age of 60. And then at 62, there were a few issues with the company in its chosen position. Because, you know, we are basically a lending company, and we had issues because the economy went through a downturn and things like that. So I said 2 more years.
Okay.
4 years past pension, and I said thank you.
Interesting, and congratulations to you.
Well, congratulations for going on pension.
Congratulations on going on pension and having able people to
Yeah.
run the organization for us. What do you think has been the role of mentoring so far as your business is concerned?
The role of
mentoring.
I think one thing.
The current CEO is Mr. Stephen Entry.
Yeah, Entry, yes, man.
Did you directly mentor him?
Not directly, but I worked with him for about 8 months before I handed over to him. Now, to get back to your question about mentoring, I think as you grow an institution, you are the number one staff. As the CEO, everybody's looking up to you. And when you start growing the company, you are the systems. You set the values. And you set the behaviors and attitudes and everything of the whole company. So you behave and act as you want the other staff to behave and act.
Okay.
And that, for me, is the greatest part or the greatest mentor you can give to your people. You see, in Africa especially, because of our cultures, when you build a company, you become like the chief of the company. So you are not supposed to be challenged. You're supposed to be different. The company is for you, so you decide to do whatever you want with the company.
Was that how you run it?
But it's very, very wrong.
Okay.
That is exactly what you should not do. You form a company, you employ people, you are supposed to take, in our case, take depositors' monies, give loans to clients, pay taxes to the government. So that company that you formed is not for you. That is what most people should understand. That you form a company, you are the promoter, you probably head it, but the company is not for you. There are a lot of stakeholders. You have your staff who are working every day to create sustainability and generate profit and so on and so forth. They own a part of the company. You have your investors, you have your clients that you have to sustain and let them keep coming for the company to be sustainable. You have the government who has made it possible by way of security and roads and whatever you have to pay taxes for. So even though you create the company, it is not for you. And you should learn to subordinate yourself to the company you've created. And it's difficult for Africans to understand that. Because a lot of people say that it's mine, and if they need money, they are not accountable. They just take the money and go for a weekend and come and do whatever they want with it. That company, if you run any company like that, it will fail. Okay. So the first steps in mentoring is you, the leader, to subordinate yourself to the policies and the systems of the company. So typically for me, I make sure I get to the office from the onset. I got there before almost everyone. Staff are supposed to come at 8 o'clock. I will try and get there before 8 o'clock.
Consistently?
Consistently. And every meeting of the company, I'm there on time, 5 minutes before time. And therefore, there's no meeting up to today of UT that is late.
Okay.
So you must set the pace and the tone. And that, I think, is the best form of mentoring.
That's intriguing there. UT Holdings. We have the UT Bank, we have the Lifeline Insurance, we have UT Financial Services.
We have the bank,
Okay.
UT Properties,
Okay.
UT Life, UT Private Securities, UT Collections, and UT Logistics. Okay. And then we also have UT in Nigeria, UT Financial Services in Nigeria, and UT Financial Services in South Africa.
South Africa. Yeah. Does Prince Kofi Amoabeng own all these companies?
No, UT Holdings owns all those companies.
UT Holdings owns all these companies. Okay, and
Prince Kofi Amoabeng owns half of UT Holdings.
Okay.
Now, in the case of the bank, Holdings owns just 40%. The others, UT Life Holdings owns a lot less because we just sold majority shares to Leapfrog.
Okay.
The rest, Holdings owns 100%.
So what skills do you think has been crucial in running all this number of companies we've mentioned?
Well, for starters, you must have basic knowledge, general knowledge, as in training. I think I can't discount the fact that I went to university, did BSc administration, I'm a chartered accountant, but also you must be disciplined, and I think my background as a military officer also has helped a lot. And then your general upbringing, you must be brought up to have the right values, to love people and want to do what is right. And then you learn as you go along. If you don't have the right values, you might make money, but then you do not respect the people who help you to make the money. If you don't have the right knowledge, it gets to a point where you just don't have the capacity to handle it. And of course, you need the love for people generally, for them to stay with you and be straight with them and let them love what you do and want to do it with you.
Okay. Okay. You just made mention of your academic education. Then you mentioned discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, but right after discipline, you did mention military. Do you relate it to it?
Of course I do, because keeping to time, respecting people, a lot of it comes from the military. That's what military training is about. You know that your life depends on the other person. You are responsible for your soldiers, and you just have to be disciplined. I mean, go to the training and keeping time and all sort of things. It requires a lot of discipline.
So, why did you leave the military?
I left because I had to leave, because the military had changed. I joined the military in 1975, and in 1979 there was the first revolution. I was not in the country, I was in London on course.
Did you run away?
No, I was in London, I was on a course, and then the revolution took place. And I did not understand, I did not see how it was possible.
Okay.
So I decided not to even come back to Ghana. I couldn't see how other ranks and junior officers can take over and kill some generals and imprison other senior officers. I couldn't imagine it. Yeah. And for me, at best, it was a very bad mutiny. But it meant they also had control of the country, and it was too difficult for me to fathom. So I said I wasn't coming back. But then 3 months they handed over to civilian government, if you have your history right. So when I finished the course, I said, well, the mess is over, so I might as well go back. So I came back, and the army had changed completely. It was nothing near the army that I left behind.
Okay.
But
change for the better.
Change for the worse. Change for indiscipline. It was worse than a Boy Scout. And things have been run down. But when I came back, I had hoped that, it could be rebuilt.
Okay.
So through 1980, 81, yeah, maybe things were coming back slowly. Then there was another revolution, December 81.
Okay. About how old were you?
81, I was 29.
29. Yeah. And how old were you when you joined the military?
23.
Was it? Did you join on your own will?
I joined on my own will. I applied and joined the army.
Okay.
You know, so when the second revolution came, end of '81, and they started with formation of defense, civil committee for the defense of the revolution, PDCs, and all sort of things.
Okay.
And I said, no, this is nothing like anything I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
So I left in '82. So that is why I left the army. I left the army because of the way things were usurped, and there was disorder, and certainly you can't have any military institution where other ranks or junior officers are better than or better positioned than senior officers. I mean, really, it doesn't happen. So that's why I left.
Was it in '82 that we had famine in the country?
'82 led to '83. '83 is noted for the famine, but of course it started from the revolution, and there was nothing coming to the country, and we were calling ourselves the socialists or communists or whatever, with our leaders wearing Afro Moses and whatever it was.
Okay.
So
we'll come back to the military. You did mention you worked with our current CEO, Mr. Stephen Entry, for a period of about 8 months.
yeah.
What informed your decision to hand over to him?
Well, I did tell you that for the time I was 60, I felt my time was up.
Okay.
You know, so I had to hand over to someone. Unfortunately, events that unfolded led to my deputy resigning.
Okay.
But I was still bent on leaving because I wasn't saying my deputy is resigning, so the succession wasn't very smooth.
Okay.
And Stephen had come in as the chief operating officer and was doing well. So I said, well, the board has to look for a new CEO. Stephen then was from within, so to speak, even though he was new.
Yeah.
And therefore they found him better than looking for a complete new person, and he had demonstrated that he could do the work. So that's how come I handed over to him.
Okay. Let's come to our country, Ghana. Do you think the climate here in the country promotes business? Is your case a rare example of somebody or a company that can be successful?
There are opportunities in Ghana, a lot of opportunities in Ghana. But it's not easy doing business in Ghana at all.
It's not easy.
At all. And I need to stress it because for the youth who want to go into business, they must be prepared to stay strong and be aware of the problems and not take it lightly. Because if you take it lightly, you easily will be derailed. The reason why I'm saying that it's not easy at all, not to complicate it, I will say it's due to two things.
Okay.
I'll elevate to two things, and we can quickly go over that. One is the government and the system in which you're supposed to operate. Because we have an environment where the institutions that should help businesses are dying, to say the least.
Okay.
And there's a lot of corruption, and there's not a level playing field. What I mean is that if you're doing business and you even are paid by someone with a check, and the check bounced and doesn't want to pay, you should go to the police, and action should be taken to ensure that you get your monies back to keep you back in business.
Okay.
Obviously, if such a thing befalls you, go to the police, forget it. Because the defaulter can pay the police and your case will never be heard, and therefore your capital will be gone. If you want to buy a piece of land to probably start putting an office on it, the land is probably sold to 4 people, your money is stuck, go to the police, your time is taken up, and your business will go down.
Did you ever experience something like this?
I did. And I was someone who would walk away if it's really bad and not waste my whole time on it and try something new. Yes, and let the money go. Let the whole investment go. I will not advocate that for everyone, but I'm saying you have to prepare and weigh the options depending on what befalls you. Now, not just the corruption, but if you want any document from any government source, it's not easy. Unless you put some weight on it,
Okay.
or they're going to delay you for months, and that is not good for business. apart from that, the structures are not there. If you want to go and make some delivery, where are the roads for you to go on? Where are the train for you to probably transport in bulk? Every business starts with a business plan which has in it the demographics of the country, because that determines the market that you're trying to serve. And for example, I go to my village every weekend, and when I take visitors there, they find the environment, the greenery and everything, they're really interested and say, this is a nice place, and I mean Kukwantumi. And they say, oh, what's the population of Kukwantumi? I'm always embarrassed when they ask me that question. I don't have a clue.
Okay.
But that is the first question any businessman will ask you if they want to do business in that area, because they want to see the size of the market. So all these things that are absent, these are things that the government should provide, that should be there in the environment, are not there. So it makes the business very difficult. The second thing, and I said two things, is the Ghanaian himself, the individual who is running the business. To start off with, the training that we get from our homes makes us docile, timid. We can't ask for our rights. We can't challenge authority. We fear authority. And we are easily controlled by anything that we perceive to be influential or authority. Okay. So what happens is that in most cases, people start their businesses, and the person who employs staff for them is probably their pastor or the elder in the home or some chief somewhere. They only can say, take your brother, take your cousin. And
isn't that good? Doesn't it help to provide employment for the family?
No. The best person fitted for the job should be put in the job, because he or she can deliver for others, for the business to grow, for others to get a chance. Not your relation, never. And I've had situations where I had to sack my brother, I had to sack my cousin, and said, get out of here, let me get better people to put in business. But of course, it brings the wrath of the family members that you are employing outsiders when your own blood is there. But it's absolute rubbish. If your brother or your relation is almost there, has a basic qualification and is prepared to work, that's different. Okay. But when you find that invariably because you are the uncle or the brother, they want undue privileges, but you are running an outfit and should treat everybody the same. And because of this upbringing and culture and attitude of Africans generally, and typically Ghanaians, you find that businesses suffer. Because you employ a relative or somebody recommended by the pastor, and you want to sack this person because they've contravened the policy of the company, they come back to beg for the person. So you are stuck with wrong people. So, and you find that because of our culture, I've had people that we're trying to help, and they close their shop and go for funerals for 2 weeks. Why would you want to leave a business you're building and go for a funeral for 2 weeks? So it requires discipline which makes you different, and you have to be disciplined to afford, because it comes with a lot of criticism. And for example, it's funny that in your intro you said I've been most respected CEO 3 times. When I started, I was the most hated CEO. Really? Because people didn't like how I would go after defaulters. Okay. How I was strict and would not employ friends and relations. So I was hated until they found the yield from my activities and realized that, look at what these guys have built.
Let me come here. Was it because of your military background? Because generally banks and financial institutions are not known for that.
Yeah, call it military background, but what is right, and what is wrong. People have trusted you.
Was it the police that was doing that for you? Or you
no, I did it myself. I went to people's homes after 12 midnight. I mean, if you go to the police, what are they supposed to do? I mean, you can't use the police to chase your debts. Okay. So I went myself, I went with my team, I trained them what to do, and we went to people's homes after 12 midnight if we couldn't find them. Yeah. You know, but the point is that, and people ask me, and I don't even understand why they can't understand simple things. People have trusted me to give me their lifetime savings. And I have actually trusted people and loved them enough to give them money. And the relationship with my clients starts when we have given them money. Now, when you're giving them people's monies and they don't want to pay, they don't want to come and discuss it, what do they expect of me? To go and tell the investors that your monies went and they haven't come?
Okay.
And I will sacrifice my time to go after them to make sure they pay the monies. And the interesting thing is that Ghanaians tend to sympathize with the crooks and not me. The good person who has given money, who doesn't have to sleep and has to go and chase that money, I don't have any sympathies. But rather the sympathies went to the crook. But the point is, what is right and what is wrong. That's why I say you have to be disciplined to afford. These things don't have to get to you. You have to think about sustaining the business and making sure that you protect the person's monies and you're able to keep your staff and grow the business. And that is the fact. And you shouldn't let anything deter you out of it. But you have too much of that in Ghana. So, to answer your question, two things: the difficulty from government, institutions, structures, environment and things, and our own innate behaviors and cultures and things which pull us away. And these things are the pull factors and will not ensure that you progress.
Okay. So this is Role Model Africa, and we have a very wonderful guest here, Mr. Prince Kofi Amoabeng. He shared a lot of insights on his journey in business, and we've appreciated his military background. We've appreciated how he deals with business, and he has some more to share with us. Kindly stay tuned and enjoy this. So, when young graduates are out of school, would it be your advice for them to, if they want to go into entrepreneurship, to start their own businesses?
It's a tough question. If you can find a job, get a job. Because you see, you need to serve and see how institutions are run and the pieces come together so that when you start your own, you've learned a lot and then you can expect that people will serve you. But if there's no job, then you can't sit and say you're looking for a job, so you must venture into some kind of entrepreneurship. Okay. So I would not say that everyone go and look for a job or everyone go and become an entrepreneur. If you can get a job, definitely learn the lessons and grow and get expertise and experience before you go into entrepreneurship. At times, some people have the opportunity or they have an idea right from school. The fear there is that I know for sure that the first business that you start, in 95% of the cases, that's not what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So start, take the risk, learn about the business, let it collapse, give it your best shot, try again. So that is why I like the young worker term, keep walking. The thing is, start small.
Okay.
If you dream of starting big, you always be frustrated. And it's natural for you to think of starting small. Nature does everything from small to big. We are born very little, crawl, start to walk, run, and grow to become big. Even the forest is supposed to have started with one seed.
Okay.
So when you want to start a business, start small, because if it should collapse, then you're not going to be hurt much. You're not going to hurt a lot of people, as in investors and people who have put their faith behind you. So personally, if anybody comes to me with a huge project, he needs $1 million or even $100,000 to start something, I'll tell him, I don't think you're on the right. I don't want to risk my $100,000 and lose it. So I don't know where you're going to get it from. But if you say that, listen, I started this on a very small scale, and this is how it's turning out, and looking at it, if I should step it up to this level, it's going to probably let me break even and start making some monies and employ one or two people and things like that. I know that you are making sacrifices and you've tested it. So those who have, and it's a lot of grit and dedication, because it's not easy. Many times when I started getting into business, weekend I'm going home to my wife and my kids, and I didn't know what I was going to give them as chocolate. I didn't have it. So entrepreneurship is not easy. you start and certain time you don't have money for even transport. And have to think, probably see friends, see relatives and things like that for them to support you. But talking about help, because you need help along the line, you must have the right values. You must be a person of integrity. If you are known as a crook, you go to anybody who marry you. Okay. So as you go up through school, through university or whatever, make sure that people trust you as a person of integrity. Because when you get into those troubled times, you need to go to people and tell them that, listen, I've done ABC. I think today I've hit a wall. I need maybe 50 CDs or 100 CDs to even go home or pick transport to carry the business. And if they know you're a person of integrity, they will probably help you. If, on the other hand, they know you as a crook, they say, oh, it's one of those things. Mm-hmm. So being a man of honesty and integrity is crucial as you're growing up, and you should have the right values and let people trust you. So when you start your businesses and you hit very rough patches, the people who know you will talk for you, will stand by you, be on your behalf, and help you to get up again.
Okay. So same to our graduates in school and tertiary institution. Can students in school, when we come out of school, can they do better when we have mentors training or grooming them aside the normal lecturing system that we have? Is that system helping?
The issue is there are a lot of...
So if, for instance, I want to be into banking, before I come out of school, maybe I have a banker grooming me before I come out of school.
I think, you see, you should not get a fixation on one thing. When I was in school, maybe it's a bit different now.
Okay.
I was just learning. And I was in business administration and I took my lessons seriously. I wasn't thinking of becoming a banker. I wasn't even thinking of going to the army. I just wanted a good grade and continue learning. But now I think you need to sort of look at it as a bit of some perspective to see that this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. But life is quite volatile and things move. It's quite fluid. So you find that the people who did engineering probably end up being bankers, people who did arts end up being something else and things. So you should be an all-rounder so that when the opportunities come, you can easily switch or do some additional courses and move on. So mentorship, yes, but the reason why I don't want to say go for mentorship is people come to me and they said, you are my mentor. I said, okay, no problem. I wouldn't have the time with my numerous, I mean, you know what we went through before we got this bill. To sit with you and say, okay, mentor and mentee, we are having a chat. Okay. I have a lot of people who are supposed to be my mentees, but I even feel ashamed when they say, oh, you're my mentor, and things, but I can't have the time. Okay. What I think you should do, if you get someone who understands, and I wouldn't mind if at every so often, one of the mentees should just shoot a straightforward question and say, if you are in this position, what do you do? Okay. I can go back, pick a call, or send an email back and say, give me a bit more information on this, and give some advice. But otherwise, what they could do is listen to a lot of these mentorship programs, like what you're doing now, attend mentorship lectures and things like that, and pick a few things and ask questions and build it. But to get a mentor who is going to sit with you and tell you what to do, that's quite difficult. But when you start a business, what you could do too, you could get someone who is a bit advanced in the business to serve on your board. Okay. Then to get to serve on your board, definitely it means they hold your hand and the company's hand in building the company, and because there are better experiences, you get the mentorship.
Okay. Okay. I think that's a very, very interesting one there. So that's a nice jeans there.
It's cheap though.
Okay.
But the point is when people think you've made it, even if we're going, they say, hey, it's top quality.
Okay. Are you a young man?
Yeah, very young.
So Johnny Walker.
I'm a very young man, but if you relate to the years I was telling you and things like that, you realize that if you look at my passport, I'm not a young man. Okay. But I believe I'm very young.
Oh, okay. Because you seem to be engaged in a number of useful activities. Yeah. One time I listened to an interview of you on radio, and Sarkodie phoned in, and you interacted more casually, and he did a song on an album that was coming. Yeah. Somebody your age, why do you like music for us, the young people?
Let me put it simply.
Shouldn't you be doing high life?
I love high life, but let me put it simply. When you grow, you die. So why should you be gravitating towards death? So when you are young, you are not yet about to die. So really, and I love young people, and I think I want to impact their lives because the future is for them. You know, and Sarkodie is my personal friend, and we share good moments together. I have other young people who are my friends, and I don't see age difference when I'm sitting with someone. I don't see it at all. If I'm with my kids or younger friends, I see two human beings. I don't see an older person or a younger person. I don't.
Okay, yeah. So why should somebody take his money and come and invest in UT?
Well, why shouldn't they? Not everyone is a business person. Not everyone can earn a return on their monies. And I think we've demonstrated with time that we care about investors' monies, and we try to work hard to pay them good return on it. So it depends what kind of investment you want to make. And we're quite honest about it, and we're quite fair. And we tell you the options that you have, whether it's savings or fixed deposits or treasury plus or whatever it is. And you have to shape your investment with what you want. For example, if somebody is a pensioner, the kind of investment he wants is very different from somebody who's young. Because the pensioner probably wants to put the money there and get some monthly return to live on. A young person probably is going for stocks or something like that because he wants to see capital appreciation over long term. So we give that advice to make sure people get the best benefit from their investment.
Okay. So in business, Mr. Amoabeng is more like a superstar, a superhero who has achieved so many amazing things. And it becomes challenging to imagine that a real human being in Ghana could do most of these things. We want to find out if he has a personal life and how he has his leisures.
Well, I am a bit of a workaholic. If something has to be done, it has to be done. And typically I wake up in the morning, go to work, come back in the evening, watch TV, have dinner, go to bed. Weekends, I normally go to my village and play some ball, relax, train, be with friends, play music, dance, and come back Sunday night or Monday morning, and the routine continues. So that's what I've been doing for the past so many years. I think currently saying that I'm semi-retired, I'm now trying to find new things to do. I want to travel a bit, play more golf, and take it easy.
Okay.
But I don't think I can really take it easy and go on pension as not doing anything. Because it's too much for us to do. Some of the companies are still new and young, and I will have to be around to help the holding company to groom them and to bring them up. So there's a lot that I can do. It depends on how I position myself.
I probably wouldn't have asked this, but is there another area you haven't been successful in?
I started by being a general merchant. Buying and selling almost anything I could lay my hands on if I could make a margin.
Were you in Kantamanto?
I was in Kantamanto. I sold the Bonuau before. I've dealt in commodities. I've been in timber. I've been in air conditioning. I've been in oil business, both upstream and downstream. I've done everything before. Now, the interesting thing is that these things happened between the time I left the armed forces and I started Unit Trust. And that was invaluable training because I got to understand the psyche of Ghanaian businesses. Therefore, when I started lending money to them, I knew how things worked and how they were thinking and their attitudes.
Okay.
So I failed so many times, even in businesses.
Were you discouraged?
No, as I said, I'll just walk on. I mean, there are, at least I can remember 3 instances where I had this disagreement with my partners. And in all 3 instances, I just wait and said, I can go to court and fight for my rights and it's going to take my time, or I can just quit. So in all those, I did not even invite an arbitrator or a third person. I just sat down with them and I said, this is where we are. I think it's not working. I think our partnership is breaking down, so you can have my shares. Then I walk away. It's painful, but it's the easier, less time-wasting option. And it's also because I believed in myself that I could always start something and get it right. So if people get greedy and short-sighted about what we're doing, I just left it for them and moved on.
Okay. So you've been watching Role Model Africa. This is the platform that engages African personalities whose contributions on the continent and beyond are worthy of emulation. Today we've been honored to have Mr. Prince Kofi Amoabeng, who is the founder for UT Holdings, and he shares so many remarkable insights with us, and more importantly, touch on the crucial subject of mentorship, and has helped us to appreciate the profundity of this institution. Sir, there's a young person out there who has been in business and has failed quite a number of times. There's a lady watching this show at this moment who wants to know how she, a lady, can impact Africa, since we don't have so many ladies making strides in Ghana and the continent at large. What would you say to the young graduates out there who is in school or has come out of school and wants to make remarkable impact in business?
Well, I think the simple advice is that keep working harder. Keep reflecting on what you've done wrong. Even in the worst case, you may probably be doing the wrong thing. So if you have to move on, move on. But be assured that it's not easy, because if it were easy, a lot of people have done it. So get the needed support from any source, keep working harder, keep reflecting on it, and move on if you have to move on. But don't quit, keep working.
So don't quit, keep working. This has been Role Model Africa, and we have been graced by Mr. Prince Kofi Amoabeng. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
UT Bank, you must say, I would have brand a bosia, but I will see our white Nimgracia to be dead. Mamma, my home, I didn't crown. I braboned the Mekemu 80. What a tons I see.